If you're not using AI yet, you're falling behind. You're falling behind others that are already using smarter tools than what you are. I've been working in a corporate environment for 26 years now, and I don't think anything's shaken up what we do like AI. I used to think AI wasn't for people like me. Well, I was wrong. Even just small tasks like summarizing an exit interview really opened my eyes to the capability of some of the AI tools that we have these days. And stick around to the end because tip number 4 changed how I prep for meetings forever. And I wish I would have known about it years ago. My name is Stephen Cofer. Thanks for joining us today. I've been working as a mechanical engineer for 26 years, so I have some experience with what it's like to struggle through different things. And I'll tell you what, with some of the new AI tools that are being developed, I'm seeing tremendous opportunity, and I really don't want you to fall behind. See, the truth is most of us are working harder than we really need to. I think there's, with some of the, even just ChatGPT, I would argue one of the simplest AI tools out there, we're already seeing the game changing. And it's absolutely amazing. I don't want you to fall behind. So today I'm going to share with you 5 insights that will hopefully help you with how you use AI and help you be able to stay relevant in this ever-changing landscape. Tip number 1, most people think that AI isn't for them. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh, God. Balls.
I'm using AI currently in my role for some simple tasks like writing summaries. Like in the intro, I gave an example there of how I use AI I used it to summarize a exit interview that I did for a team member that retired. I thought it was really useful to kind of open my eyes to some things that maybe weren't super intuitive right from the notes that I captured, but by using the AI tools, it really helped make it clear, like, yeah, this is something we need to think about and improve moving forward. I think another big realization was that, these AI tools that are available today aren't just for like computer programmers or computer science majors or things like that. It's really for everybody. Some of the things that I've used ChatGPT for, which doesn't really seem, I guess it was an eye-opener to me. But when we were planning a vacation, we were planning to drive down to the Outer Banks here last spring. And just personally, I think it was great to be able to kind of put in our destination, describe, hey, we wanted to stop partway through the trip. Here's how many people we had that were traveling. Here's where we were planning to stop and to stay. And I think the response that ChatGPT gave me, I thought was really interesting because it said, okay, here's hotel recommendations for a party of our size, and here's towns that would be an appropriate place to stop based on the driving distance we wanted to do each day. So that's, I think you could use that in your professional career too, especially if you're somebody who travels for business a lot. Maybe you never thought to use AI as a way to help facilitate your travels. Tip number 2 is to start small to see big value. Right? It doesn't need to be anything grand to begin with. Like I said, use it to summarize meetings, to maybe you've typed up an email and you don't like the way it's sounding, so you want to change the tone of the email or something like that. That's another great opportunity to use AI to communicate more effectively via your emails. Or maybe you have some data that you need to summarize. I was sitting in a meeting recently, and the engineer was presenting some data, and she wasn't really sure how to interpret it. And I was thinking about that in that meeting, like, hey, this seems like a great use for AI. I've not tried this personally. Let me know in the comments if you have, but I'm curious if you've used AI to help summarize and draw conclusions from data. I'd love to hear about it, and I'd like to learn more about it. So maybe you can help me with that. Ultimately, some of those early wins taking a simple approach to using AI tools such as ChatGPT, eventually that's going to translate into big wins. So I would encourage you to start small and generate those big wins later. Tip number 3 is to use a sandbox prompt. So maybe you're skeptical about AI and its capabilities and how it can work for you. Well, let me offer this tip. What if you, y- what if you want to test it, so to speak? Okay. If you already have an idea of how you want to solve a problem or send an email or whatever, or summarize data, go ahead and do that on your own. But then try AI afterwards. See if you could compare what you came up with versus what the AI came up with. That way, it's low stakes in that you've already solved the problem yourself, but you might learn something new by seeing what the AI tools could come up with as well. All right, tip number 4 is going to offer a simple workflow that you can use to use AI. If you think about your normal workflow, sometimes maybe you'll just jump into it and get it done. But what I would encourage you to do is try using AI as a way to supplement that workflow. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, start out with a rough draft. And if you want, you can even use AI as a means by which to come up with a rough draft. Right? ChatGPT is amazing at coming up with outlines for topics that you might want to cover, and then adjusting it as necessary. So then the next step there in that workflow would be to review it. So once you look at what the AI tool comes up with, then take that next step and saying, okay, is this really what I want? That's one of the things I love about using AI tools is their adaptability and how quick and simple that is. So once you've reviewed it, the next step is to refine it. So that's where you're going in. You're kind of adjusting what it gave you. So maybe you didn't like the outline that it gave you, or maybe it was kind of focused on the wrong audience, and you need to adjust it that way. And it's an iterative process, but boy, I'll tell you, if you take the time to actually go through that review and refinement cycle and do that over and over, you're going to get a pretty good product at the end of the day. If this video is helping, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you realize and helps me get my message out to other people that need to hear this. Tip number 5, AI isn't a threat. Stagnation is. Okay, what do I mean by that? I think a lot of people look at AI as a threat. And I'll be honest with you, in some ways it could be.
Am I scared of a stupid computer? Please, the computer should be scared of me.
I think there are certain occupations that are going to be at high risk for being replaced by AI in the future. Heard a recent podcast on, one of my favorite podcasts is Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. And they did a recent podcast with a panel of AI experts. And the analogy that they used that I just loved is like, okay, imagine that a new country was just discovered. Maybe it's an island out in the Pacific or something like that. And there's 1 million people there. And all 1 million people are PhDs in their respective profession, and they will work for 25 cents an hour. So that's, depending on your mindset, right? You might look at that as a threat, like, oh, my job could be replaced by AI. Now, fortunately, the company that I work for, they're very clear that the objective is not to replace people with the AI tools, but rather that we want to use the AI tools to enhance what the workers at my company are doing. So rather than replacing it, it's just going to enhance. And really, I think that's amazing. So I'm really excited about where the AI tools are going to take us in the future, and how being receptive to that and coming at it with a mindset of, yeah, this is going to make me a better engineer or doctor or teacher or whatever your profession is, I think is the right way to approach things. Not so much, hey, how is AI going to replace my job? I would encourage you to get in on the front end of that and start using the tools straight away, even if it's just using ChatGPT. I would also encourage you to start learning about how to create agents within ChatGPT to help you solve problems. I've been fortunate enough to be part of a project at work to use AI tools as a means by which to improve our drawing quality. So again, I'm a mechanical engineer, so we use engineering drawings all the time to communicate the functional requirements of our parts. And one of the challenges we have is around our drawing quality review process. So we came up with an agent or a coach, if you will, to help people hold more effective drawing quality reviews. And it's been a great experience for me to see how the AI programming experts at my company, how they've taken and they've created agents that will basically, it's like having an expert in that particular topic that's trained on all the engineering standards and things that you would need to hold a drawing quality review. And you can just go in there and you can type in your questions and it's fantastic. So, in some ways, I could see if you're an experienced engineer such as myself with 26 years in the business, you might be a little nervous about that because, over time you've put in the time and energy to gain that experience, and that's part of the value that you bring to your role. Now, if there's a new tool that comes in and basically does all that for you, you might be a little nervous about that. I could see how that would make you anxious. But I don't think that's anything really we need to worry about, because if anything, I think that's going to make me a more effective engineer in the future. So don't be afraid of it. Be afraid of stagnation, not the AI tools. So let's recap the 5 tips I gave you today. Tip number 1, most people think that AI isn't for them. Tip number 2, start small to see big wins. Tip number 3, start with a sandbox prompt. Tip number 4, try the simple workflow. And tip number 5, AI isn't a threat. Stagnation is. Want to continue building your success? Click on this next video that's popping up on your screen right now. I'll see you there.